Hey everyone, and welcome. Today, we're going to tackle something that could honestly change the way you learn forever. We're talking about memory, but not in the way you might think. It's all about this idea of relevance and why getting the big picture first is the real secret to making knowledge actually stick. So let's just kick things off with a question that I'm pretty sure hits home for all of us. Have you ever read a really amazing article or, watched a great documentary, and the next day you can barely remember the main points? Why is it that so much of what we try to learn just seems to vanish into thin air? Well, it turns out there's a name for this feeling. You could call it the information paradox. We're literally swimming in an ocean of knowledge. We have access to everything, but it feels like our ability to hold on to any of it is actually getting worse. And you know that feeling, right? It's like your brain is a leaky bucket. You keep pouring in new facts, new ideas, new figures, but they just seem to drip right out. It leaves you feeling like you've got nothing to show for it. And honestly, it's super frustrating. But what if I told you the bucket isn't the problem? What if the leak isn't a flaw in your memory at all? Let's get into the one single secret that really unlocks how our memory is supposed to work. Okay, here's the big reveal. The problem isn't your brain. It's not that you have a bad memory. It's your strategy. That whole leaky bucket feeling that comes from just dumping information in without giving it any structure to hold on to. And that brings us to the most important word of the day, relevance. See, our brains don't work like a computer hard drive, just storing random files. They build networks, webs of connection. A new piece of information will only stick around if it can hook onto a big picture, a mental framework that you already get. Without that hook, that new detail is just random noise, and your brain lets it go. So, the big question is, how do we build that framework? This is where we get super practical. We're going to walk through a step-by-step process that you can use to learn, well, pretty much anything. All right, here are the 5 steps. I want you to think of this like building a funnel for knowledge. First, you build that wide opening at the top. That's your big picture. Then you start filtering things down, making them meaningful, integrating them, and finally, using them. Every single step is designed to capture what really truly matters. Step 1, and this is the most important one, frame the big picture. Before you even get into the weeds, you have to ask yourself 2 simple questions. What's the main idea here, and why does this matter to me? So, for example, instead of trying to memorize a bunch of random economic terms, you could frame the whole topic as how stuff and money flow through society. All of a sudden, every new term has a home. Next up, step 2 is all about filtering for relevance. Your goal here is not to remember every single little detail. It's to separate the useless trivia, the random dates and names, from the real structural insights. You want to focus on the big stuff, the key trends, the core principles, the cause and effect relationships. These are the pillars that hold your big picture up. Okay, step 3, convert into personal meaning. This is where you stop just memorizing definitions and you start making the knowledge yours. Take a super abstract concept like a neural network. That's tough, right? But what if you use an analogy like this one? Think of it as a team of people where each person adds their own small contribution to solve a bigger problem. Boom! Instantly, it makes sense. Now, step 4 is so important because learning isn't a one-and-done kind of deal. You have to integrate and restructure what you know. Think of your big picture not as a stone carving, but as a living thing that's always growing and changing. For instance, maybe you grew up thinking all fat is bad, but as you learn more, you update that picture to a much more nuanced view about different types of fats and macronutrients. You're constantly upgrading your mental model. And finally, we get to step 5, apply and reflect. This is where the rubber meets the road. This is how you really cement the knowledge in your brain. Use what you've learned to make sense of the world around you. So once you get the hang of supply and demand, don't just know the definition. Use it to figure out why that video game you want is suddenly on sale. Application is the ultimate proof that you really get it. So why bother with all of this? I mean, it sounds like a bit of work, right? Well, because doing this isn't just about cramming for a test. It has some huge, lifelong benefits for anyone who wants to be a smarter, more effective learner. Let's just run through them real quick. First, efficiency. You learn how to cut right through the noise. Second, retention. You actually remember what's important. Third, flexibility. Your understanding isn't rigid. It can grow and adapt. And maybe the best one of all is empowerment. You stop just borrowing facts from other people and you start building your own genuine knowledge. All right, let's bring it all home. If you only remember one thing from all of this, let it be the incredible power that comes from building your own big picture. It really all boils down to this simple idea. Learning isn't a game of collecting the most facts like they're trading cards. It's about building, refining, and then actually using these big pictures to navigate the world. So here's the bottom line. Relevance is what drives memory, period. And relevance is something you create. It only happens when a new detail connects to a bigger story that you already understand, a story that you're carrying around in your head. That right there is the secret. So I'll just leave you with this one final thought. You've got the framework now. Think about something, anything, that you've always wanted to really, truly understand. What's the first big picture you're going to start building?